In the heart of Sialkot, where the clamor of tanneries and the rhythm of cricket echoed through narrow alleys, lived Shahid, a man whose pockets held more holes than coins. His friends, well-fed and clad in tailored suits, pitied him. But Shahid wore his poverty like a badge of honor. Each morning, Shahid stepped out onto the bustling streets. His shoes, worn thin by countless miles, whispered tales of struggle. His friends, bankers and traders, would pass him by, their leather shoes clicking confidently. Yet Shahid's eyes held a quiet fire, a determination that defied his threadbare appearance. Shahid worked odd jobs, hauling sacks of spices, sweeping shop fronts, and delivering parcels. His hands bore the calluses of labor, but they also cradled a secret. Hidden beneath his frayed shirt was a notebook, a relic from his school days. Shahid had never forgotten how to read and write, even when hunger gnawed at his insides. His friends gathered at the tea stall, sipping chai and discussing stock markets. They'd laugh about their lavish vacations, their children's private schools, and their silk ties. Shahid stood on the periphery, listening. His heart weighed heavy, yet he remained unyielding. One rainy evening, as monsoon clouds painted the sky, Shahid's friends invited him to a grand wedding. "Come, Shahid," they urged. "You deserve a break." But Shahid declined, citing work commitments. Instead, he sat by the window of his tiny room, watching raindrops race down the glass. In that dim room, Shahid wrote. His pen danced across the pages, weaving stories of resilience and hope. He chronicled the cobbler who stitched dreams into worn-out shoes, the flower seller who sang forgotten melodies, and the rickshaw puller who carried burdens heavier than his fare. Word spread about Shahid's stories. People whispered, "Have you read the tales of the man with ink-stained fingers?" His notebook became a treasure passed from hand to hand, bridging gaps between the privileged and the penniless. One day, Shahid's friends found him sitting on a bench in Company Bog, the city's oldest park. Raindrops clung to his beard. "Why do you write, Shahid?" they asked. "What good does it do?" Shahid smiled, his eyes reflecting the park's ancient banyan tree. "Because stories are bridges," he replied. "They connect hearts, regardless of wealth or status. And perhaps, someday, my words will build a bridge strong enough to carry me out of poverty." His friends exchanged glances, realizing that Shahid's wealth lay not in banknotes, but in compassion. They began to see him differently, not as a pauper, but as a sage who understood life's deeper currents. Years passed. Shahid's stories were published, touching hearts across Sialkot. His friends, too, changed. They no longer pitied him, instead, they admired his resilience. Shahid remained poor, but he was rich in purpose. And so, in the labyrinthine streets of Sialkot, Shahid survived honorably. His ink-stained fingers continued to write, and his spirit soared like a kite caught in a monsoon breeze. For he knew that true wealth lay not in bank balances, but in the stories we tell and the lives we touch.